at some point my other au pair friends were even like, why are you staying with this family? They're kind of crazy. Hey everyone, welcome back. Today I'm going to share my experience of being an au pair and tips on how you can become one too. So if you want to know, then definitely stay tuned. Alright, for this video we're going to get straight into the topic. I have spoken about me being an au pair. Just after high school, I was an au pair for about 11 months, yes, almost a year. And I've in recent videos talked about it just a little bit, but not really in depth. So that's why I wanted to come on here and do this video for people who might be interested in becoming au pair too. So I think this video might be so useful for anyone deciding whether to go abroad or not. I know right now there's a pandemic going on, but if this thing is over, then hopefully you can decide on whether you want to become an au pair. And this video should be as a guide so you can decide for yourself, because when I was looking for information back then, that was 12 years ago, there were barely any reviews or let alone YouTube videos about being an au pair. But nowadays there's so many different videos, and that's why I wanted to speak about my experience too, because I know that I have younger viewers who are graduating this year or next year, and they might be interested in possibly going abroad as an au pair. I've gotten questions on Instagram and also here on what the procedure is, how you can become an au pair, so if I can share websites too. So that's why I wanted to make this dedicated video about my overall experience and the whole procedure of how I became an au pair. So the first thing I wanted to let you know is that right after high school I wanted to go abroad. In Germany it's a really common thing to take a gap year right after high school, so that's like what most people do. That's what most of my friends also did, and you can find different kind of programs that will allow you to go like abroad. So for me, I had the option of going either to the States as an au pair or to Latin America. That's what I wanted to do initially, because I had gone previously, like just for 2 weeks, summer program to Spain, and I really enjoyed it. I stayed with the host family there, and I really enjoyed the overall experience of just staying with the host family and trying to improve your language skills at the same time, but always like experiencing the local life at the same time. That's what I wanted, so that's why I opted to become an au pair basically. I could have also gone abroad with other programs like some of my friends did, but you either had to have money or you either had to find someone to kind of like fund you. So I thought au pair would be like the best option, because with au pair you literally don't need any money. So that was the good thing about the au pair program. I wanted to go to the US, but the thing with the US is like the program itself was quite expensive, so you had to pay upfront. I don't know how much it was. I don't remember how much it was, but I know that it was quite some money, and I just graduated high school, so I had just been working for about like a year or two, and I didn't have enough money to do that. So I decided to go with the website where you look for your au pair family. I will tell you the procedure later on, what I did exactly, but that website was completely free. And the second reason being also that I was able to contact my family prior to going there, and that was also very important for me because I wanted to get to know the family before. And I had heard that you couldn't really meet your family or even like talk to them with an agency, or most of the times you didn't even know where you're going to be placed with the agency. So I wanted to know where I was going to go basically, because with agencies there are so many surprises that come with them, because you don't know where you're placed, you don't know how the family is, you know a little bit about the family, but it's just a little more uncertain. So I wanted to know every detail, kind of. I wanted to know the family the best way possible before going there. Everybody knows that au pair stories can be the worst. I didn't want to go through that. That's why I wanted to make sure that I knew what I was going to get myself into. Alright, so I'm going to tell you about the overall experience, my au pair experience. I overall loved the experience of being an au pair, and I wouldn't have done it any other way. I'm so glad I decided to take that step and live with an unknown family back then who have become family now. So I was really blessed. I don't call it lucky, but really blessed to have like such a like good family, because up until now this is like my second family where I'm really good contact, and that is an experience that I will forever be grateful for. I have no regrets whatsoever. I'm just happy I did it. So let's talk about the family. My host family was a family of four: the dad, the mom, and two daughters. The youngest daughter was 5 years old and the older one was 15 already. So I basically just had to take care of the younger one because she was 5, and that was my job, like to take care, not really take care as a nanny, but I was more so there to practice English with her because she was going to a private English school and the whole family was Spanish. They didn't speak any English, so I was basically there to reinforce that English that she was learning in school. And the parents just wanted me to be there in the afternoon to continue speaking English with her, and that's what I did. So a lot of families in countries like Spain are looking for au pairs who are native in another language so they can practice with their kids. So for example, a Spanish family will have children who are going to German private school or who are going to English private schools. So they want to have someone who is always there to speak to the children and to kind of make the children get more used to speaking the language also at home. And so this is what I was there for. This is what the host family told me before. This is what was also written on their profile when I chose them. They wanted me to talk in English with their 5-year-old daughter, and that is what I did for the most part. And this experience was very unique for me in the beginning because of course English is not necessarily my first language, but it's my second language more so. So German would have been my first language. I had other au pair friends who were speaking German with their host kids, and I was supposed to speak English all day. It wasn't a problem, it wasn't a big deal, but in the beginning it was quite I had to get used to it because I wasn't used to speaking English like the whole day. But it wasn't the whole day either because I basically just saw the kid right after school, and then after school I spent some time 2 to 3 hours with her, and those 2 to 3 hours I was supposed to communicate and do everything with her in English and also help her with her English homework. And since she was like in kindergarten, or not even first, like in preschool, it was pretty easy. In the beginning, let me tell you that it was quite I wouldn't say difficult, but it was definitely a task to get accustomed to everything, to grow into like the family rhythm, because it was so different. So when I first got there, the host family was communicating with me only in Spanish, and I had just finished having like 2 years of Spanish in school. So 2 years of Spanish is not what I would consider being fluent, of course, but the host mom basically forgot about that a lot of times. So when she would speak to me, she would speak like so fast, and she would give me like all these tasks and write me these little post-its, and I would just be there and read them and don't understand half of what she was saying. So in the beginning she was thinking that there were things I didn't want to do because she was writing little post-its, and I would just not do the task, do the things she would ask me to, because simply I didn't understand. So, and at the time it wasn't like nowadays that you could just pull up your phone and go on and like app a dictionary or whatever and look up the things, but it was a bit more complicated. So sometimes I would just guess what she meant. A lot of times basically I would just guess what she meant. Sometimes I was right guessing and other times I wasn't. And I'd say the first month or so was a little bit hard to get accustomed to everything, and because the communication was so off sometimes, but not because I didn't want to or the mom didn't want to, or like other family members, but it was just because they were just speaking Spanish, and sometimes I would just not understand quite well what they would want from me. And but I communicated it to the host mom, and from there on it went very well. There were of course ups and downs. I can't tell you like all the things that happened throughout that year. There were so many things. I could like tell stories upon stories, of course, and like every family there are things happening. And at some point my other au pair friends were even like, why are you staying with this family, they're kind of crazy. But still I love them. They were crazy in a sense, but I love them. I love them so much. They are such good people. And yeah, I wouldn't have wanted like another family. Of course there were things that I absolutely loved and other things I didn't love so much. Being an au pair, you don't really need any money, as I said, and you are even paid, and you have a lot of free time. So that was the best thing, because you're basically living as if you would be at home and you're paid. I was lucky that I wasn't even working that much, to be honest. I was just supposed to take care like 2 hours a day, 2 or 3 hours a day, of a 5-year-old, just go to the park with her, play with her, shower, and then have dinner. That's it. And then put her to bed. Like mostly it wasn't even me that took care of her like in the morning, that got her ready to school. It was all her mom. So I was only with her 2 to 3 hours a day. And for that, that's why I also got like half of the pay. A regular au pair pay is about 60 euros, $60 a week, and I got just 20. But I wasn't even doing half as much as the other au pairs. That's why I even had free time to look for a second family where I would just go like after school and pick up like there were 2 boys, so I would just go pick them up after school, have lunch with them. I wasn't the one who made the lunch. There was already someone at the house making the lunch, preparing everything, so we would just have lunch together, and then after that we would just play, do like homework, English homework of course, and that's it. So there was like 2 hours, and with that I got like an extra 60 euros a month. So that was quite good. I didn't have any expenses because you're living for free. You're doing everything. You're living completely for free. You have food, everything. You have absolutely no expenses whatsoever. So everything you earn is just your pocket money. And they are supposed to even pay for your language classes. I had Spanish classes. The family is supposed to pay for them. In most cases they do pay for the classes, the language classes you'd have. So you absolutely have no expenses. So this is pocket money that is spent going out with your other au pair friends in most of the cases. So now I want to get into the whole procedure and steps I took to become an au pair. I know nowadays maybe some things might be different. Take into consideration that this was 12 years ago. So this is quite a while ago, but I think overall it's the same procedure nowadays too. So the first thing I did, as I said, I signed up on this website. This website is called aupairworld.com. Before it was called aupairworld.net. I just randomly found it on the internet. I was looking for agencies and websites where you could just sign up and look for host families. So I found this website. It was completely free. That was the best thing. And you would just set up your profile just like a Facebook profile or like a dating site profile, just normal profile. Put your pictures on there and put like a little description of yourself and also what you're looking for. And the host families would do the same thing, and then you would just go looking for different countries and different host families, so according to the destination where you wanted to go to. And I wanted to go to a Latin American country initially, or either the States. But with this website, you couldn't really go to the States because it wasn't like it was an official website, but it was more so like a website to connect. So it was no agency behind it. And to go to the US, you would need a proper like agency that was recognized by the American government. And since that wasn't possible on the website, I chose to go to Spain, because in Latin America it's not so common to host au pairs either. And that's why then I chose to go to Spain, because I had previously gone to Spain too and I really liked the experience there, and I decided to go to Spain. So I was looking for different host families, and I would just connect with them. You can just connect with them on the website. They can either write you or you can write them, and I was just communicating with different host families until I found my host family. And I want to say it was 5 to 6 months prior of me going there. So I was going in July, I think, right after I graduated, and like about 5 months prior to going, I got into contact with my host family. So we started making regular phone calls, talking regularly, like on Facebook and emails with the host mom. So that really encouraged me to even go ahead with this, because they were so nice, and I really liked that I was able to have a regular contact with them before going there, because I kind of felt like I already knew them in a sense, and I already had talked so many times to the daughter that I was supposed to be taking care of. So that I kind of felt like they were already becoming friends or familiar, so it wasn't like an absolutely new thing when I went there. So when I went there, the experience was it was crazy, because it immediately felt like home. That's what I want to say. So I did that, and those were the overall steps to get connected with your host family. So I really love this website because it was so easy. The setup was the easiest ever, and from what I've heard from agencies, it's not that easy, because you first have to get kind of like approved, or like, and then they have to approve like host families, and they connect you with a random host family that you don't even know, things like that. I didn't want to go through all that, so I decided to go on that website, aupairworld.com, and I did everything by myself, and it was super easy. So I absolutely recommend you go on this website if you want to look for your family yourself, do everything yourself. Of course, if you're going for that route, you would have to also look for your visa and everything. You would have to handle that yourself. But in most cases, like for me, I'm European, so for me it was easy to move around Europe and just go. So I didn't have to like do any visas or anything, so I was just able to go basically. And now I want to give you some pros and cons about choosing your host family via like a website like that, or going through an agency as an au pair. So as I mentioned previously, if you want to go to the States, then it is mandatory that you go through an agency. You can't just go with a website. You can't just sign up on a random website and look for your host family. You have to go with an official agency that is for au pairs. So that is the con about the website, that you can go to the States. Another con would be that there's no one really to assist you. You're doing everything yourself, so you are contacting the family yourself, or they are contacting you. Then you have to get with them into contact, and you have to basically set up everything yourself, the whole trip, everything you set up yourself. But with an agency, everything would be either set up already, or they assist you in setting up everything, so you're just like ready and good to go. And another con would be, of course, that with the assistance, the agency is more advantageous because they have people there, so in case anything is wrong once you arrive there, or you don't get along further down the road, like with the family. They're always there to assist you and maybe put you into another family. So you always kind of have someone there or assistants there to guide you and assist you and follow you all along your au pair year. And of course, with the website, you don't have that. So you are basically on your own. In case something doesn't work out with the family, you would have to look for another family. That happened to a friend of mine who was also an au pair. She didn't end up getting along with her family and then wanted to change families, so she basically had to do it herself. So she went on that website again and looked for another family, but luckily it worked out really well for her, so she didn't have any problems with the second family then. But that's the thing, if there would have been an agency, they would have done the searching for a second family and assisting you around everything. If you want to feel just like more secure and that you have assistance, then I would go with an agency. But those cons are not cons I would consider being like bad in that way, but it's just how you prefer it. And of course, the pros of the website is, of course, that it is completely free, so there's no cost involved for you. Nowadays I don't know, but back then it was absolutely free. And the second pro, of course, of the website is that you get to choose your family. You have contact with them prior to staying with them. And with the agency, that is not, I think in most cases is not even possible. Yeah, like you could have maybe a phone call or so with the family, but in most cases the people don't even know where they're gonna be placed. They don't even know which city, like nothing, just a couple of weeks before going. So that's a really big pro for the website, and also that you're kind of free to choose what kind of family you would want to be with. That's another pro. With the agency, of course, you can tell them your preferences just like the family, but it is not guaranteed that you will actually be placed in, for example, a certain state. Like if I would have gone to the States, I would have chosen to go to New York. But I'm sure like you can't tell the agency that you would like to go to be placed in a host family that lives near the New York area, but it's not always guaranteed that you will actually be placed in a host family that lives there, because either there could be no host families around or they just don't fit you. So overall, those were the pros and cons I could think of. So now it will be basically up to you to choose whether you want to go with an agency where you have much less work to do. All the searching and everything will be in the agency's responsibility. So if you're opting for the website, then of course you would be looking for the family, doing everything involving your stay as an au pair. So what do I recommend? I personally recommend doing it yourself if you feel comfortable. If you're someone who has never gone abroad, of course, then I would recommend going with an agency. But I, for example, was someone who never had really lived alone abroad, but I was very courageous. Like I wasn't even scared or anything, and I was sure that I was going to be able to handle everything, and that's what I did. So that's why I wanted to make sure that I got to know the family, that I was the one choosing the family and everything, and I absolutely have no regrets, as I said, and I would do it over again, like through this route I did. So I would absolutely go on the website and look for my family. So overall, the experience is absolutely worth it, and I would recommend it to anyone considering it to just do it. And of course, a lot of times you hear females, like girls, being au pairs, but of course there are also guy au pairs. Guys can also be au pairs if they wish so. I knew someone who was an au pair too, so it's absolutely possible. Yeah. So everything is possible. And yeah, that was the overall experience. I really recommend it if you can, if you wish so. If you have questions, then definitely leave them also in the comments below. And thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.